Hey guys, today we're going to look at qualitative, quantitative and skill classification. Okay, so quantitative and qualitative analysis. These are two different types of analyses that athletes, coaches and sports scientists use to study and judge physical performance. The first one we're going to look at is quantitative analysis. So this deals with information that relates to facts, figures, quantities and measurements of performance. An example of this might be the statistics in a basketball match. Statistic charts are always a good example of quantitative information. So here we're looking at things like the score, minutes played, three-pointers attempted, and the number of assists. This sort of information are measurable bits of data which we can define as quantitative information. Quantitative information may also include height, reach, record and other measurements. And then we move on to qualitative information. So this is information that deals with descriptions and judgments about a performance based on what can be observed. Here are some examples of qualitative analysis of a basketball player. So this was a write-up about the player pictured on the left. So it's a description which makes it qualitative rather than numeric data which makes it quantitative. The player had a solid game and looked full of energy. His team held on to much of the possession and made the opposition pay with a strong offensive performance. Here is another example of a qualitative piece of information. So just like the previous slide, it's a description of what happened rather than data based on what happened. Okay, and now we move on to skill classification. Motor skills can be classified into four main types. Fine or gross motor skills, which refer to the amount of movement required. Open or closed skills, which refers to the environment which the skill is being performed in. Discrete, continuous or serial skills, whether or not the skill has a defined beginning and end point. And the fourth one is self-paced and externally paced skills, which refers to who determines how the skill movement is initiated. Fine or gross skills. These are classified according to the amount of movement required to complete the skill. As you can see, the basketballer is spinning the ball on his finger, which is a fine skill, because he's just using the small muscles in his hand to produce that skill. And the snowboarder down the bottom is performing a gross skill. In other words, he's using lots of large muscles to produce the skill. And what do you think about this skill? Pitching a baseball employs a great force from the whole body. But the skill also requires skillful manipulation from the fingers, which is a fine skill. Many skills use a combination of large and precise movements to complete a skill and therefore can be classified as both fine and gross movement skills, as in this example. Open or closed skills are classified according to the environment the skills are performed in. An easy way to think of classifying open or closed skills is to think about it as a continuum. Any skill can be represented on this continuum, categorized by how open or closed they are. Open skills. They are performed in a constantly changing environment where many factors can have an influence on the skill. The factors may include placement of teammates and opposition, the crowd or the referee, weather and the venue, speed and force of the movement. Open skills cannot be performed in exactly the same way each time as the situation in which they are being performed is always changing. In the picture, you can see Stephen Donald kicking the winning kick in the 2011 Rugby World Cup. So there was a lot of pressure and other external factors on him at that moment. So you could say this was quite an open skill. Closed skills. These are skills that are performed in an environment which does not change. The individual is in complete control of the skill and no external factors interfere with the skill's performance. So this rugby player at practice, kicking with probably not a lot of pressure, quite a closed skill. Discrete skills. A discrete skill has a clearly defined start and end point. These are skills that are performed once, and when they are finished, the person performing them must start again from the very beginning. A golf swing, a tennis serve, and a netball shot are all good examples of discrete skills. Serial skills. These are made up of a number of discrete skills in a sequence. These skills have a clearly defined start and end point, but are performed one after the other in sequence to make up a routine, such as changing gears in a car or a dance routine. Continuous skills. These have no defined start or end point. This type of skill is performed over and over again without stopping. The performer decides when to start and when to finish. Swimming, jogging, and dribbling a basketball are good examples of continuous skills. So of these two pictures, can you explain which is self-paced and which is externally paced? One is a soccer throw-in and one is the start of a 100-metre sprint. We will talk about this in the next theory class, so please complete your whisk sheets and your questions so you're ready for the start of the lesson.